Hi, my name is Bailey Johnson. I go to Blaine College. These are all of my note cards that also submitted pictures to in the Dropbox. And then these are my 5 guests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I do have a visual aid, however, it might get a little blurry in the video due to lighting. But there's that, and we will get started. All right. In 1995, Buzz Lightyear said, "This isn't flying, this is falling with style." Today, I'm going to be telling you about glider flying, how it's a fun and unique sport that deserves a little bit more recognition. Most of y'all have probably traveled by plane before, and you use it to get to one place to the other in a short amount of time. However, how many of y'all have actually flown for the fun of it? Glider flying gives you this option to fly for fun. My grandpa has been flying for over 30 years now, and this past summer I got to go with him in Nephi, Utah, and crew for them at a glider contest. I learned a lot, and it was super interesting, and I now have so much more appreciation for the sport. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about what a glider is and how you can fly both for fun and competitively. So, how many of y'all are comfortable flying in a plane with no engine? No one? Yeah. I wouldn't be either, but that's what a glider is. A glider has longer wings, a smaller body, and no engine. Instead, it flies in heat thermals and kind of bounces around. The Federal Aviation Association lists all the components of the glider. So we have the cockpit, which is where all the controls are and the pilot sits in. Most of them are just one-seaters, but you get some two-seaters. We have both the right and left wings. The fuselage, which is the main body part, which hooks in the 2 wings. And then we have the appendage, which has the rudder. We also have the left aerial and the right aerial. We also have spoiler, dive brake, and your landing gear. The right aerial and the left aerial help the glider roll or turn, so it helps you kind of go left or right. And then both like the tail part helps you keep your horizontal stability, so it helps you like go up or down. And then the landing gear, of course, helps you make sure that you don't just nosedive into the ground. With longer wing base, it helps let the glider maintain its altitude and its lift, and it kind of hops from thermal to thermal. A glider also needs to be super smooth in order to gain speed and go through the air quickly. In 2001, Marshall Bryan and Brian Adkins wrote an article for How Stuff Works. They said that gliders used to be composed of aluminum with structured aluminum skins, but the rivets and the seams of the glider, like where everything will hook together, created a lot of drag. So now modern gliders are made of materials like fiberglass and carbon fiber. This helps make sure that they're smooth and go through the air a lot faster. However, gliders did not used to be this efficient. Bryan and Adkins found that they used to be made out of wood and canvas, and they were a lot heavier and created a lot more drag, which is not efficient when you're kind of just going through the wind. This sounds a little scary, and when I first went with my grandpa, I was a little nervous, but it takes a lot of concentration and a lot of skill, so it's kind of cool to be thinking of that much stuff and be that high in the sky. Now that I told y'all a brief history about what a glider is, I'm going to tell you about how much fun they are to fly. You can do competitive glider flying, which is what my grandpa does. He was a world champ, and then this past summer in Nephi, we went to the South Regionals. There was about 28 gliders competing in the contest. It's really cool. They get task sheets, which tells you all these different points that you have to go to. And you have to turn within a certain range, and you want to get back to the starting point as fast as you can and beat all the other gliders. This can get a little dangerous, especially when you're flying in somewhere like Utah where there's lots of mountains, so your thermals are a lot more irregular, so you don't always get the lift that you need. And there's a lot of people. Like I said, there were 28 people in this past contest. So think about 10 gliders circling in the same thermal. They get pretty close together. However, in 2017, the National Transportation Safety Board said that planes are 56 times more likely to get in an accident. This came out to 271 fatal accidents and 972 non-fatal accidents with an airplane that you go to at the airport. Rather, as gliders only had 3 fatal accidents and 19 non-fatal. So they're a lot safer than people think they are for not having an engine. Along with competitive glider flying, there's rules and regulations, like a glider has to be weighed, there's handicaps involved for different types of gliders, and you also get a point system. It's kind of fun. The pilots all get to hang out together and they talk about the tarmac and, helping each other out. But when it comes for them to take off, they all have their own rituals and regulations that they go through. There's all these little old men getting ready in their gliders, and it's kind of fun to see. However, you don't always have to fly competitively. I've spent multiple weekends out in the glider club with my grandpa. It's a lot more low-key. Everyone kind of just enjoys being up in the air, and it gives pilots a way to learn new maneuvers and test out the new technologies of gliders. Every year, the Georgetown Glider Club does their annual pumpkin drop. It's so much fun. They spray paint a big bullseye in a field, and you go up with a pilot, you take a couple loops around, you have your little pumpkin, and you throw it out the window. It's so much fun. Sounds a little crazy, but you try to get as close to the bullseye as you can. I've been a winner 3 years in a row and counting, so it's always fun to do, and it's just a tradition that I've done since I was little, and it's cool to go up there and be that high you can reach out and touch the clouds. So to conclude my speech, a glider is a plane that doesn't have an engine, and it's a way that allows people to fly for fun. It may be a little scary at first, but it's more safe than people think. It's a fun hobby that you can do both competitively and for fun. So next time you look up in the clouds, just think of that big metal bird flying through the sky. Thank you.